what's God's will for our health? Does God care if we're healthy? You know? Or does he just care about our soul? Well, first we have to understand that God does not show favoritism, okay, to man or woman. And we can read that in Galatians 2:6, where it says, God shows personal favoritism to no man or woman. And basically the Bible asserts that it is never God's will for any person to be sick, weak, or defeated, ever. God's will for us is to be healthy. And that includes everyone. Because remember, God does not show favoritism to no man or woman. So we are all equal in God's eyes. And his will goes across the board for everyone. Okay? Doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter what age you are, doesn't matter what color you are. God's will for our health is that we prosper. And in 3 John 2 it says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in all things and be in health, just as your soul prospers. And a lot of people you come into contact with today will tell you, well, God doesn't care about your health, he only cares about your soul, because that's most important. So people use that to justify their bad habits, to make an excuse for their unhealthy eating habits. Oh, I can eat as much bacon and cheese and eggs as I want because that's not what's really important. What's really important is my soul. But see, unfortunately, those Christians and other people are not being submissive to God's will, because if they were, they would have read that verse and been submissive to God's will for them, which is to be healthy. And if they were really honest with themselves, they would realize that, I'm not being healthy by eating all this unhealthy food. And I'm not making the very best choices that I could for myself. So, I think everybody has to sit back and really evaluate their eating habits in their life and really ask themselves, am I really being submissive to God's will for my health? You know, God's saying that he wants me to prosper and be in good health, just as my soul prospereth. But, you know, today the average American's in very poor health. And, you know, Americans make up a majority of Christians. And so, you know, Christians ought to be healthy. You know, they ought to appear to be healthy. They ought not to have the same health as an unbeliever. You know, what does that say about a Christian? You know, and I find that's really sad, and I think that this is something that should be really taught in the church. But, you know, they don't really talk about things like this in church. You know, they'll talk about all these other things, but they won't ever really touch on the diet, because people don't like to be offended. You know, people don't want to be offended. They don't want to be told, oh, what you're eating isn't healthy, because people are afraid to judge. And that's another topic for another video about judging. But, you know, today Christians and people have this idea that we should not judge. You know, judging is wrong. But we need to actually make spiritual discernments and judgments if we really love and want to help people. You know, there is only one truth. And so, you know, like I said, a lot of these things aren't being taught. And, you know, so after church service, people just eat donuts, drink coffee, you know, eat all this unhealthy food, and then they'll get sick, and then they'll go get some disease, you know, and then they'll pray to God and say, God, please heal me from this disease. But why would God ever cure them or bless them when they are the ones that caused their problems to begin with? And if they really knew that God wanted them to be healthy in the first place, but they never were submissive to his will for their life. So that's something for Christians and even non-believers to think about. And it's something that really does matter a great deal. You know, God does care about the health of us. We are His creatures. He is the creator. And if you were a creator of a creature, would you not want your creation to be healthy, to be in good working order? You know, if I created a computer program, would I not want my computer program to work good and to not have errors and blue screen of death? If you were an artist, would you not want your painting, to become very popular and famous? If you were a writer, would you not want your work to be very well known and be successful? Would that not be your will for the things that you've created? So God is not a monster. He does care about us, and He does care about our health.